I mean, they've told us it's going to get more expensive, and they've been right.
In terms of expenses,
yes.
Look, I think stepping back, they're doing exactly the right thing. There were huge concerns around the platform in terms of privacy, in terms of the types of content and disinformation. They are investing a lot. The operating margin is still 35%. That's very healthy, but it's down from almost 50%. They're doing the right thing for the long term. This is exactly what Mark Zuckerberg said they would do in the IPO prospectus. It's hard for companies to do this. The market doesn't like it. Generally, the stock pulls back, but we've seen this a few times in their history as a public company, and each time it has made them stronger going forward as a long-term entity. So I think they're doing the right thing. 6% down after hitting an all-time high. Come on. It's a tech stock.
The fact that it is down 6.5%, though, I mean, do you buy into this idea that profitability for this company has peaked?
They may have peaked before they began the investment when they were over 50%, which is just a ridiculous operating margin.
Yeah.
But 35% is extremely healthy. The growth is still strong. Here we are saying, oh, I wasn't quite near 30% where I wanted to be, but still over 20% at this scale. That's tremendous. And again, Mark's talking about payments. There is a lot of opportunity there. A lot of excitement around Instagram, which is still not fully monetized. So I do think there's long-term growth, but I think you'll continue to see the multiple compress. This is a huge company now, and growth is, over the long term, going to slow.
Especially in the context of the other earnings that we've seen in other stocks that have run up a lot more than this. I'm thinking of Apple, for example. I mean, there's nothing fundamentally about Facebook's story that's changed. It's still Facebook and Google. If you're talking about power in digital advertising, yes, we knew that they were going to have to invest cost-wise in all kinds of privacy-related, data integrity-related stuff, monitoring on the site. They're doing that, and I think we know that there are these worries out there about regulation that affect not just Facebook, but also Google, et cetera. So if you're long the space, it's hard to argue how you can get too, as you mentioned, wrapped up in, it's down 6%, but still above 200 a share. I mean, Facebook's doing fine.
It's doing fine. Exactly. And they're investing for it to continue to do fine long term.
Although the track record of companies that are posting consistent 20% revenue growth and then stop is checkered. So what would happen if, in fact, that does happen, say in Q1?
It should continue to slow. Google did this for a long time, where it just gradually slowed down. Tech is a very cyclical business. It's around product cycles. The main product cycle on the main Facebook app, we're in the late stages of it. That was ad-driven, but again, there are other opportunities there. They have Instagram, which is still a gem. There's a lot to do there. So there's plenty of growth ahead. I just don't think you're going to see the multiple expand wildly from here. It's still high.
They disclose the daily active users, 2.26 billion. That use at least one service, and they break out the core Facebook numbers specifically, but they don't do it for the other services. Do you think they should?
It'd be helpful. Information's more helpful, but no, I think we have it. And I think, suddenly people are starting to freak out. Oh, look at the Blue app. It's not doing well anymore, and people are dumping it. 250 million people in the United States are using it. I mean, I hope nobody was sitting here thinking it was going to go to 700 million in the U.S.
There aren't that many people.
Exactly. There are only 330 million people.
Unless you have a shadow account.
So yes, and they do have an age limit. So actually, they're pretty close to fully penetrated. It can't grow much more.
I actually think some of the most interesting stuff that came out of this report was the commentary from Mark Zuckerberg on the call. He really seems to have dug his heels in terms of some of their policy and strategy decisions as of late that, of course, they've been under criticism for. And saying, because we wanted to be liked, we didn't always communicate our views as clearly because we were worried about offending people. My goal for the next decade isn't to be liked, but to be understood. It seems to mark a shift in terms of how he's communicating.
Yes, and that is good. That's leadership. That's what you want. It's often a flaw of especially inexperienced leaders. They want to be liked as opposed to respected. So that's good. But I do think Facebook still is going to have to do some reckoning around the platform that they have built, which is one of the most powerful media and communications platforms in the history of the world, is easily and commonly used to distribute propaganda and disinformation and fool people. And I think that over time, I bet Mark's attitude toward that is going to evolve a little bit more.